Hi everyone, my name is Kyeisha Lawrence. I'm an incoming medical student, and today I'm going to be sharing my personal statement that I used to apply to medical schools. So this definitely is something personal, as this is called, the personal statement, but I still decided that I wanted to put my statement out there for a couple reasons. One is that as I've been going through this application cycle and I've been so fortunate to have interviews and acceptances, is that it's important for me to also take a step back and reflect on the reasons why I want to go into medicine and the impact that I hope to have in medicine before my medical school journey even begins. And my second reason is that honestly, the entire process of applying to medical school is difficult. And I'm really passionate about helping others to succeed and to achieve their goals of becoming a doctor. And so it really helped me to be able to read other people's statements. And so I want to share mine to act as a source of inspiration for those who are struggling to figure out how exactly to tell their story. And that takes me to my last point, which is that this really is a part of my story. And I think that storytelling is so powerful. It inspires others. Our words are powerful. And I'm really have seen that it's truly impactful for me to share my story. And so I'm excited to be able to do that today by giving you a glimpse. Even though the statement is important, but it doesn't cover everything. So it really is still just a glimpse of who I am and what my story is. And how that all connects to why I want to be a doctor. So without further ado, I'd like to read my statement for you all now. Shake the bush, wake it up before you pick it. I picked the leaves off the plant as my great-grandmother instructed, returned to the kitchen, and poured the piping hot water over the leaves. One of my brothers was coming down with a cold, and on St. Martin, bush tea was our answer to almost any ailment. It's like a cure-all. That is, until my younger cousin, Dimitri, was diagnosed with leukemia. Dimitri died in the same year that my family and I moved to the United States. The devastating loss had a substantial impact on me. With the move and his death, I began to think more deeply about my purpose in life. I reflected heavily on my childhood and the influence that my great-grandmother, Grandmother Ello, had on me. Not a day went by without visiting her. She would tell me about the countless women who died during childbirth in our village and how that reality sparked her decision to become a midwife. As I listened in awe, visitors would drop by and I'd skip quickly to her kitchen to prepare them a cup of tea. No one ever left her house empty-handed. Her strength and altruism run through my veins as I was taught from a young age that when your community is in need, you step up and make a difference. I ultimately developed a passion for fulfilling this mission through medicine. I began to explore medicine by volunteering at a local hospital where I found myself doing many of the same caring acts I performed at Grandma Ello's house, like handing out water and ice chips to patients in their room. My role, though minor, was honorable, as I was entrusted with providing comfort to each patient. Each visit to a patient's room provided a different experience, a different culture, and a different diagnosis. Yet the patients trusted that the staff would care for them as though they were family. With each patient I connected with, my desire to play a larger role in their care grew. I always took advantage of my access to attending physicians and asked a flurry of questions in an effort to get more insight into the patient assessment, treatment plan, and follow-up. It became clear to me that I wanted to play a larger role in patient care. Through shadowing, I began to picture myself in the role of a physician. At the Children's Heart Clinic, I met John, a young senior in high school who had collapsed. As Dr. X examined him, she asked him various questions about his hobbies and interests, and he smiled as his anxieties lifted. And that's when she saw it. The echocardiogram showed that he had a bicuspid aortic valve. The news of his congenital heart condition left him in a state of fear, but this only lasted a small while, as Dr. X was able to explain the condition, break down what this meant for John, and educate them on the condition while also comforting them. She showed me the impact that physicians can have by educating and comforting patients. John left the clinic that day with a newfound health condition, but he also left with a supportive healthcare team committed to providing him with the best care. I left inspired to become that compassionate caregiver. With a desire to continue to care for those in my community, I started volunteering at the College Park Pregnancy Center. There, many of our patients were medically underserved, underprivileged, and underinsured. I saw the need for compassionate care, and I did my best to provide just that. While at the clinic, I heard the cries of a mother of a newborn whose Medicaid application was not timely processed, causing her to face a staggering hospital bill. I saw the tears of joy from women who were happy to learn about their pregnancy, and tears of despair from those who could not afford to have another child. I knew that each woman had her own cross to bear, but when they stepped into our doors, I made it a priority to create an environment where we could focus on their health and the health of their babies. In this clinical environment, I found my purpose, to dedicate myself to improving the health of these communities. I confirmed my decision to be a physician, in particular, one dedicated to treating underserved communities. From Dimitri's passing onwards, I developed a passion for medicine, as the role of the doctor encompasses all that I wish to fulfill: caregiver, advocate, and scientist. Rooted in my values of compassion, selflessness, and advocacy passed down by my great-grandmother, I am driven to use medicine to serve my communities. As a physician, I want to be a trusted figure for others in their moments of vulnerability, uncertainty, and illness. With the belief that healthcare is a right that should not be determined by the color of one's skin, gender, or socioeconomic status, I want to use my position as a physician to create change. With these goals in mind, I welcome the challenges that medical school and a career as a physician will bring, as I know from my own experiences that the path that make the most difference are the most challenging. I may never understand why Grandma Ello instructed me to shake the bush before picking it, but I do know that my upbringing and my experiences have instilled in me the importance of sharing, service, and selflessness, all values which have prepared me for a career in medicine. So I want to talk a little bit about how I ended up with this final statement after many drafts, and some of the things that were important for me to share in my statement. I think that across the board, every personal statement is going to be different because it really should be a reflection of who you are and your story. And although I definitely struggled a lot. I wrote so many drafts. I think in the end, is my statement perfect? No, it's not. But I think it did a good enough job of conveying who I am as a person, my experiences, and basically being a strong persuasion of telling medical schools, hey, yeah, I know what I want to do in medicine. You can accept me and know that, medicine is what I want to do. And I think that really is what you want to convey in the personal statement is, who you are, trying to get a sense of an applicant from paper, and two, why you want to do medicine, your true, deep, genuine reasons for why you want to do that. And I think as I brainstormed on why medicine and what I wanted to include in my statement, a couple of things were really stand out to me. When I think about why medicine, it really is serving my community. It really is that compassion, that empathy, the connections with people, and it really is that larger impact that I hope to have on my communities or in medicine as far as tackling health disparities, serving underserved communities, and also increasing representation. And so those are kind of, I think, the main feelings that kind of are generated from my statement. And again, those will be kind of different for everyone, but I stuck true to what I know I love about medicine. As far as other experiences, I knew from the jump that I wanted to tie in my upbringing in St. Martin in some way, because where I'm from is so important to me and it really has shaped me into who I am today. And then I also wanted to tell the true story of where my spark of medicine came up. And for me, growing up, I didn't want to be a doctor. I wanted to be a performer, like a singer. And as I described in the statement, it really just was losing my little cousin to leukemia and moving here. And I honestly spent so many nights asking myself, why am I here and healthy and living years beyond what he was given, since he only passed away at 9 years old. And yeah, I think I'll never know, why God chose to take him up to heaven so early, while I'm still here, why other people, don't suffer from cancer and some people do. But yeah, it really impacted me as far as what I wanted to do with my life, and knowing that I wanted to do something impactful. And how it came about to medicine was trying to honor him. I was learning more about leukemia and fundraising for leukemia. And that experience introduced me to like, oh, here's like the research that goes behind trying to come up with new treatments. And from there, I saw an opportunity to volunteer at my local hospital, and just everything, my entire journey to getting to this point has been just, the only thing I can say is that it really has been God leading me down this road and to where I am today. And so yeah, I wanted my statement to definitely like have those important points to it. And again, like I said, I keep saying it's just your story, and for me, this is my story. So once I stuck true to that, and of course went through all the phases of editing, I was able to get to this point. And something else that was important to me was having a strong conclusion where I wanted to tie in the impact that I wanted to have in medicine. All the things that I mentioned, knowing that healthcare is a right, wanting to work with underserved communities, wanting to make an impact, a change, to be an advocate as a physician. And that's something that I wrote in the statement, and then I carry through with all the different activities I've done, and then also in the interviews when I'm asked, where do I see myself in 10 years? I describe myself as a doctor who is, yes, doing compassionate clinical care, but also doing impactful research on health disparities, and who's doing community outreach in the communities that need it, bringing healthcare to them, and also doing advocacy. So all of those things I want to do, I talk about in the interviews, and again, I touched on it in the statement. So those are just kind of some of the things that I thought about while writing my statement. And I'm definitely going to post more content, kind of doing more details on the personal statement, more tips and tricks for you all. But again, today I just wanted to sit here and read my statement for you. So I really do thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me. It means a lot to me to be able to have a platform to share my journey. And I just feel very blessed that my story has connected with people in a way that motivates me to want to share more. So if you made it this far, definitely give the video a thumbs up, and check out my blog below, where I'm posting a lot of different content about the medical school application process. As I'm kind of wrapping up interviews and wrapping up the application, I do want to share more insights, such as my primary application, sharing more information about interviews, about secondaries, as much as I can possibly share. So definitely leave a comment and let me know what you would like to see. But with that, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.